The legal framework is that our Water Services Act differentiates between water services authorities and water service providers, where the Water Services Authority is the municipality, and the water service provider can be either an internal department in the municipality or a private sector partner. And it's very clear that the Water Services Authority has local regulatory functions, which include pricing. So in terms of that regulatory framework, a private partner wouldn't be given the responsibility to set the prices. The prices would still be set by the government. I think we should differentiate between various things. Firstly, there's the issue of regulation of PPPs. I don't know about other countries, but in South Africa, regulation of water PPPs is not separated from regulation of all other kinds of PPPs. There's a single regulatory framework for PPPs, which is set by the National Treasury. There isn't a separate one for the water sector. Then there's the issue of regulation of the water sector. And there you can divide between economic regulation and non-economic regulation. So the key thing with economic regulation is the setting of prices across the water value chain. Non-economic water regulation would include things like regulating pollution of water resources. The situation in South Africa now, as you say, we don't have an independent regulator, but there has been a political decision to create an independent economic regulator to regulate water prices across the value chain. But with regard to your key question as to how do we make sure that that independent economic regulator is effective, we haven't found the answer yet. We are currently working with the Presidency and National Treasury to try and learn the lessons from other regulators in other sectors, from the electricity sector and from the telecommunications sector in South Africa. There's an agreement that those experiences have not been good in many ways, and we need to try and design our water independent economic regulator to not repeat the mistakes made by the regulators in the other sector. And then finally, a regulator can't replace the role of a water services authority as a manager. In terms of our legislation, the municipality as a water services authority is both a local regulator, but also has to manage the water service provider. And if the Water Services Authority, for example, is going to appoint a concessionaire on a PPP basis, that Water Services Authority must manage that contract. It can't be done by a national regulator. And so that role of contract management I wouldn't see as a regulatory role, but it's very important as well for the success of PPPs at local level.
There are very explicit regulatory controls with regards to the role of the regulator in respect to setting of tariffs, but also the requirement that public participation is entrenched in the process of setting new tariffs and defining that level of affordability. In Kenya, the PPP Amendment Act of the law also brought in a new aspect of bulk water, where majority of the large private sector actors would then basically have a sell. So they wouldn't have a direct engagement with the public. The effect could affect affordability. And the protections, the safeguards that were put in the amendment was that the regulator also has to be the one giving approvals with regards to this pricing of bulk water.
We have looked at the Water Supply and Sanitation Act. Basically, we have been looking at the legal framework and see where is our mandate lies. And then we have come up with a guideline, and now we have improved it to be enforceable by law. But we started preparing a guideline that guide the utilities, because here 100% of the utilities are 100% owned by the government, that they should prepare a business plan. And we made sure that our power as a regulator has gone into the Water Supply and Sanitation Act, whereby we have been given the mandate to review the business plan, to also help build the creditworthiness of the utility, that it can attract financing from the international financing agencies. So this has been the approach that we've been using, and it has been very effective because it has been anchored from the mandate of the law, and we have captured, we have made it to be mandatory. No utility will get a tariff review unless they have got this business plan. But the other thing is, one need to look at the existing legal framework and see how can you tailor-made what is very pertinent for the water sector when it comes to PPP. Because also in Tanzania, we had the PPP kind of regulation centralized, but after we carried out the study in 2016, and then a guideline in 2017, we were able to convince, but also to make it legal that the PPP, because it came with a reform 2019, that the PPP can now be regulated in the water sector separately, because the energy sector is well advanced when it comes to PPP. I think our legal framework need to kind of prepare a tailor-made way of dealing with PPP regulation for water sector and sanitation, vis-a-vis the rest of